Hello and welcome to another Stamp with Amy K Facebook Live video. And today I'm going to show you a card that I made with the classic Cloche stamp set bundle. Except I changed it a little bit. This is really designed as more of a Christmas bundle, but I thought it'd be fun to change it up and make it into a winter birthday card. So like I said, I need tons and tons of birthday cards this time of year. I don't know about anybody else, but I have lots of family members and friends with birthdays in the fall and the winter, and so I just need lots of birthday cards. So I'm always looking for options to use, different ways to use a stamp set than what it was maybe necessarily intended for. So I thought I'd give this a whirl, and I was pretty happy with the way that it turned out. And apparently I'm like totally stuck on white cards because I keep making them. And I guess it's a winter thing for me. I don't know. I love the look of the white on white, and y'all probably have to come and take away my thick basic white cardstock because I'm starting to think I might be having a little bit of a problem. So, hey Karen and Mary and Debbie, thanks for hopping on today. I appreciate you being here and saying hello. And Karen times two, I guess, actually is the other Karen. Oh, and Trudy's here as well. Nice to see you. I don't know if the other Karen has hopped on yet, but we might have Karen times three. So, all right. So this is the card we're making today. It's pretty simple, actually. Just a little bit of layering, a little bit of die cutting, a tiny bit of stamping, and that's going to be it. So, okay, so it's not just me that likes the white on white. Like I said, I kind of feel like I've been a little obsessed with that for the Christmas and kind of the winter season. Even fall, I've been using it a bunch. So, all right, so this is the stamp set that we're going to be using. Oh, thanks, Lori. I appreciate that. It's kind of been a crazy couple days. I had a bunch of deliveries this morning that I was totally not expecting that were nice and beautiful, lots of flowers and pretty things. So thank you. I appreciate that. And Jeannie and Rachel's here as well. And Marilyn, if I didn't say hello, hello. Thanks for hopping in. All right, so we've got the classic Cloche stamp set. This is one of the bundles that's available in the current mini catalog. Again, it's mostly Christmas themed, but I think you can kind of use it for whatever you want it to be. There are shakers actually that fit inside this die cut. And obviously it fits the stamped image as well. I mean, it doesn't on here because this is what, 75% of 80% of the size, whatever it is. This is smaller, but it does fit the actual stamped image. I lay it on there. I'm like, oh yeah, that's not a good example. But it fits the stamped image. The little bird has a set of dies that coordinate with it, and or the two birds do, I should say. And then there are just some accessory pieces that go along with the whole little Cloche. I'm going to say it wrong, and I'm sorry. It's going to come out wrong a few times in the video, but I will try to correct myself. So, but just a good set of dies that go with the kind of good coordinating pieces, mix and match, and you can use it again for more than just Christmas cards. All right. So let me set that aside. Hey, Nancy and Ginny, and there's Karen, the third Karen. So hey, thanks everybody for joining, and Lois is here as well, and Barbara, and I'm sorry if I missed anybody else. Before I get started and get totally off track, because you know that I will, tomorrow, which depending on if you're watching the video today, tomorrow, whenever, but Wednesday, October 20th, Stampin' Up! Is having a 24-hour stamp set, well, it's 23 hours and 50 minutes stamp set sale where you're going to get 15% off all the cling stamps that Stampin' Up! Has. So from the annual catalog, I think. Just annual catalog, I think. I shouldn't even, I didn't print out the whole list. I know it's a huge list. It's like 6 pages long. So a whole bunch of stamp sets are on sale tomorrow. The details are on my blog today, which is stampwithamyk.com. So stop out there, take a peek at it. The list is linked up out there. Or you can head over to my online store tomorrow and just snap up the deals. They're going to be 24 hours only. So make sure you're getting your orders placed, finalized, closed out by 11:50 p.m. Mountain Time tomorrow. So again, which was Wednesday the 20th. I shouldn't say tomorrow because you may be listening to this tomorrow. So, all right. Hey, Bonnie, thanks so much. I appreciate that. And I love sales too, Nancy, so I can't help myself. In addition to the little sale, I know this is tiny font and you don't have to read it, but I just did this mostly to remind myself to let you know that I'm also doing an envelope and packaging, gift packaging stock up, little ordering bonus with any order placed through me between now and Monday, October 25th. You're going to get to pick a free pack of envelopes, a free pack of card bases. It's, gift packaging materials, a free pack of either an envelope, cards and envelopes, or a gift packaging item from the Stampin' Up! Catalog. You get to pick one of those for free from me with any order of $50 or greater. So that's a little bonus in addition to the normal $10 thank you gift that you get and the reward points and all that good stuff. So let me know if you have questions. Again, the details are posted on my blog, which is stampwithamyk.com. Hey, Shirley, thanks for hopping in. And then just wanted to remind you, Eden's Garden is coming starting on November 2nd. You'll be able to order the beautiful stamp set bundle or just the stamps or just the dies, the designer paper, the cotton paper, and the beautiful garden gems, which mine actually came in, so I have them in my sweaty little hands, so you know that I will be using those soon. Or you can order the whole bundle. Again, this will be available beginning on November 2nd for customers. All right. Thank you, Penny. I appreciate that. A couple other things that I used on my card today. The Nature's Thoughts dies. This is one of those die sets that I have had for a long time and I forget about it. But it's got a really great rectangle die that it doesn't stitch like straight stitch. I'll hold it up and hopefully you can see it. It's got like a cool sort of scalloped stitch to it, and then it cuts the rectangle as well. So we'll use this on the background here underneath my focal image. And then I have got the Tasteful Labels dies, which is another one of my favorite sets from the annual catalog. And I use this little banner die to cut out the sentiment on it. So we use that on the card as well. Oh, thanks, Penny. I appreciate that. I don't know if I said that already, but thank you. I just saw the comment pop up, and I don't know, I'm half blind, and I'm getting to that age where it's hard to read on my phone, and then I look at my computer, and I can't remember if I've already said hello. So, all right, one other thing I used on this card is the Timber 3D embossing folder, and this is one of the good ones. If you aren't aware of how the embossing folders work with Stampin' Up!, most of them have a little line down the edge, and that line there is to help you to line up the cardstock when you put it in the folder, so that if you line up the edge of your cardstock with that line, then you know you're going to have a straight embossed piece of cardstock, I guess. So, all right. Oh, thanks, Corinne. I appreciate that. So a couple other things I used on this. I used the sentiment, the Happy Birthday sentiment from the Sweets and Treats stamp set, which again, this is one of those good ones from the mini catalog. And it also, I don't know if you noticed that, but it also coordinates with the die set. Actually, I can show you that it cuts it out here. So it cuts out that image. So they're kind of mix and match. It actually, you know, you need to get both stamp sets because you're going to want them both. But just so you know, this actually cuts out, is able to be cut out with that die set as well. And then the final sentiment that I use is actually on the inside of the card, and it's from the Happiest of Birthdays stamp set, which I love that. I don't know, it's your day, enjoy it. That's one of my favorite sentiments ever for birthdays. So I did use that on the inside of the card. All right, now that I've been yapping for 7 minutes, let's get going on the actual card making. So my original card, as you saw it, is one of the top opening cards. So this one's cut to 4 1/4 by 11 and scored at 5 1/2 across the top. The card that we're going to be making today, I put on a regular kind of book fold card base. This one is 8 1/2 by 5 1/2, 5 1/2 by 8 1/2, and scored at 4 1/4. And then I have a piece of cardstock, and I know it's hard to see it because, you know, lighting stuff. A piece of cardstock that I have embossed ahead of time with the Timber 3D embossing folder. And it should be cut to the size of the card front, so it should be 4 1/2 by, or 4 1/2. 4 1/4 by 5 1/2. So it should cover the entire card front. And I'm going to add a little bit of multi-purpose liquid glue kind of all around the edge here to hopefully hold that panel on the card front nicely. And we're going to just adhere the two pieces together. I usually use the Stampin' Seal type adhesives. Those are my favorites, but I do tend to use liquid glue on projects like this when I'm adhering something together where you kind of need to make sure that everything is lined up and give yourself a little bit of wiggle room on it. So I tend to use liquid glue to adhere the whole card fronts on, and then the layers I usually do with Stampin' Seal as much as I can, just because I make a mess with liquid glue. I'm kind of a, I don't know, sloppy, messy, whatever. So again, ahead of time, I cut panels of In Good Taste Designer Series paper and Sahara Sand Sahara Sand cardstock, and again cut them with that same Nature's Thoughts die, the rectangular one. And I'm just going to adhere these two together. Again, going to use a little liquid glue on this. And the reason I'm adhering them together, I'm stacking them one right on top of the other. My main reason for doing that is because the designer paper is a little thinner, although this isn't quite as thin as some of them are. Ooh, I almost stuck my fingers right in that. And I like to kind of, especially if I'm going to be layering on top of it and, you know, putting dimensionals under it, I tend to like to put a layer of cardstock underneath my designer series paper just to give it a little extra strength, because sometimes the designer papers tend to want to sag. And if I'm wrapping twine and that sort of thing around it, or linen thread, then it kind of wants to bow and buckle. So that's why I do that. So, hey, thanks, Jean. I appreciate it. So, hey, Carol, thanks for joining, and no worries on being late. You can always, if you really want to watch it, you can always catch the replay. So. All right, got a little bit of linen thread, and I'm just wrapping it twice around the card panel here that I've got layered up, and just going to tie a little knot in it. My main goal with this card is, I need masculine cards for whatever reason. Lots of cousins and nieces and nephews and, you know, whatever, lots of nephews, brother-in-laws, you know, all those people that have birthdays this time of year. And so I'm always kind of hunting for man cards, and thought this one could work for either, you know, it could be either a man or a lady, but definitely doesn't lean towards the truly feminine one with the flowers all over it. So, all right, so I've got those adhered together. Now I'm going to take this and go back to my card base, and we are just going to stick this right on the card front with some Stampin' dimensionals. Hey, Nyoka, I'm glad you're here as well. I'm glad you're catching me live, and I see Vicky is here, so thanks for joining. If I haven't said it already, I will be posting all the details for this card out on my blog tomorrow, which again is stampwithamyk.com, and I will link it up in the description of this video, so you will be able to find the blog post out there, and all the details for the measurements and all that sort of thing, the dies and things that I used, I will post out there, along with a written tutorial, because sometimes I say things that aren't right when I'm talking and, you know, doing a live video. Sometimes I do the measurements and things that aren't quite what they should be. So trust what's written, not necessarily what I say. I will just warn you that. Okay, so let's do a little bit of stamping here. I have got basic gray ink and the kind of the little domed image from the classic Cloche stamp set. I'm going to stamp that in basic gray ink on basic white cardstock. And then I'm going to take my blending brush, close that up first, and add a little bit of Pool Party ink over the top of it. Oh, goodness, I've got stuff everywhere. So again, just going to do a quick swirl on there, do a quick swirl over here, and then go to my panel here. And I may just go straight to it. Usually I find with the lighter colors, I can usually, now I say that I'll probably end up with a big glob, I usually go straight to the cardstock with the blending brush. The darker colors, I tend to want to do a little kind of splitch off to the edge just to make sure I don't end up with a glob of ink anywhere. But just going to kind of brush this. And I didn't have, you know, I didn't worry about going off the edges or having it be perfectly blended or anything like that. I just kind of wanted to get a little color on the background of it so that it looked a little more like the sky. I think we'll do one more little swirl on here, and then we will call it good on that. All right. Then I took the little, what I think is snowflakes, I'm not entirely sure, the little dot image from the classic Cloche stamp set, and I stamped that, I don't know, 5 or 6 times, something like that, sort of just across the image here to try to make it look like it was snowing maybe in the background is kind of what I thought it looked like when I added the little dots. Now, whether it really looks like snow or not, I don't know. It does kind of. So, all right, so stamp that again in Pool Party ink. And I'm going to grab the die here and just run this through my die cutting machine, which is over here to my right-hand side. And I've got to cut it off the table so I don't wiggle the screen too much as I'm die cutting everything. So hopefully y'all are enjoying your Tuesday. It's been a good day here so far. So far, Jenny isn't barking at anything, which I'm waiting for her to start doing that, because like I said, I've had a few deliveries today, a few I wasn't quite expecting, and so she's been having a heyday barking at all the delivery people. All right, now you can see that there is a little handle at the top of the whoop, I just threw my die cut on the floor. Well, all right, so there is a little handle here at the top of the die cut, and if you like the look of that, you can certainly leave it as it is. I didn't necessarily love it. I thought it looked a little strange sticking up there by itself, so I just took my scissors and did my extensive fussy cutting that I know you know that I am known for. not at all, and just snipped it right off the top. So easy so far. All right, and then I'm going to take some Stampin' Seal, and hopefully I'm going to run it on the back of, there we go, on the back of the die cut. I'm kind of trying to keep the adhesive a little bit more to the center of the die cut, just because I want to be able to make sure, I don't know how well you can see it on here, but I tucked a couple of the little trees underneath the edges of it. And because I didn't know exactly where the die cut was going to land on here, I wanted to make sure that I had a little bit of room to wiggle the trees underneath it as I needed. I'm going to slide that down just a hair as well. And again, I did the die cutting ahead of time because this is kind of fiddly and you don't necessarily need me to run, show me how, or have me show you how to run these through the die machine 59 times. So, hey, Angela, thanks for hopping in from New Zealand. I'm glad you're here as well. So this is a little Hill of Snow die cut that I used. And again, this is basic white cardstock. And then I cut out, actually I used that one. And so the small tree die, and then the medium tree die and the larger tree die. I cut all of those out garden green cardstock. And we're just going to start adhering some of the pieces together here. Actually, I'm going to start, I think, with the trees. And I'm going to put the bigger tree over here on the right-hand side of the card. And using a little bit of liquid glue, just going to put a couple little dots down here, down the center again, trying to keep it away because there are some kind of slits cut in here, so just trying to keep it away from the little spots where it's going to ooze through if I get a little heavy-handed with the glue, which sometimes I do. And then we've got one of the kind of medium-sized trees here that I'm going to do the same thing with, only we're going to stick it on the opposite side, so it'll be on the left-hand side. And again, just trying to be careful of not putting glue, there we go, all over the place where it might ooze out and, kind of make a mess. All right, so we're adhering those together. Then I'm going to take the little snow image and put a little bit of liquid glue on that as well. And hopefully I didn't get too much on there. I can use the lid or the top of it to kind of smoosh it around a little bit. And take that and flip it over here. Now I did line it up with the bottom of the stamped image on here. Just because I'm going to be adding the little wooden piece underneath it. That was why I lined it up where I did. And I think that's the right way to put it together because it fits pretty much perfectly right inside that stamped image. And then we're just going to start adhering the little trees. There we go, with some glue dots right around it. Oh, thanks, Carol. I appreciate that. Like I said, it was, the white on white has kind of been the thing for me lately. So I'm glad that you're liking it as well. All right, there we go. Got this one with a glue dot, and I'm going to adhere that. Again, like I said, I left a little bit of adhesive away from the edge so I could tuck the trees up here underneath. And we'll tuck that one in there. And then a couple of the smaller ones over on the other side. Medium, small, I don't know. They're kind of, I think this was from the medium-sized die cut. Stick one of the little trees here. And then a couple more. One more of the kind of more medium-sized die cuts over to the left. Again, I'm just tucking it underneath the die cut. And I've kept the adhesive away from the edge, so it should be fairly easy to tuck it underneath there. And then I've got one more of the kind of medium-sized die cuts left here. And I'm going to take that one and adhere it over here to this side of the card. Now this one does hang off the edge a fair amount, so what I'm going to do is take one of my Stampin' dimensionals that I have chopped in half. And hey, thanks, Elise. I appreciate that. So moving so you can't stamp right. Oh, okay. Oh, you can't. Oh, well, yay on moving. Hopefully that goes smoothly. And gosh, bummer that you can't stamp right now. I know that stinks because I've done the moving thing a few times. So, yep, I know what you're going through. It is not fun to not have any of your stamping things when you want to play and stamp with the new stuff. So, all right, so I took a little dimensional and tucked it underneath the edge of that one so that it kind of stays up and off the card. And then I've got another glue dot here that I'm going to adhere the final little tiny tree over here underneath the larger tree. And I don't think that one needs a dimensional under it just because it's mostly on the card base. All right, second to the last thing I think we have left here on the card front is to stamp the sentiment. And here we go. And the sentiment again came from the Sweets and Treats stamp set. So I've got the happy birthday in here, and we're going to use garden green ink, and again, just stamping it on the basic white cardstock. I'm going to try to stay away from the area where I did my blending brush because, you know, I make a mess and have ink all over the place. So try to stay away from there. Yeah, I love this stamp set. I can't help it. The bundle is really pretty, and I'm glad you like it as well. All right, I'm using the die here it's the banner die from the Tasteful Labels dies. And again, just gonna hop off the screen here for a second and do my die cutting. All right. The good news is if I mess this up, I have plenty of extra basic white cardstock. I think I got it done reasonably well here. All right, I'm gonna grab, again, one of my little half Stampin' dimensionals, and I'm just gonna tuck this. Let me make sure I'm putting it on the right side of this. So I wanna make sure my dimensionals are on the bottom part, if that makes sense, and I'll show you why in a second. So just make sure that you put them down, what would be facing down when you're sticking your sentiment on the card front. And I did that because I wanted it sort of slid underneath my, linen thread, which I should have scooched over just a little bit, but I think it'll work still. So I wanted it underneath I wanted to be able to slide it underneath the linen thread. And the linen thread is sort of held in place by, it's sitting right on top of the dimensionals, but not underneath them, so it's not lumpy looking, it's just sitting and holding the linen thread in place. So hopefully that makes sense the way I'm explaining it, but basically my dimensionals are down here, my linen thread's up there. All right, so let's get the metallic pearls. I'm using the silver ones, which I actually kind of don't use very often. I usually end up using the gold ones. I don't know why. I guess I'm just more of a fan of gold, but I don't know. I thought the silver ones worked nicely with the kind of snow look and the pool party on the card front. So just added a couple of those on there. Again, didn't want to make it too blingy and didn't want to put a bunch of rhinestones or anything on it and girl it up too much. So I thought the pearls did a nice job on it. So that is it for the card front. Oh no, it's not. I totally almost forgot. This is the little base piece for the little cloche. So I need to tuck this underneath here. This is cut from In Good Taste Designer Series paper. And again, I used the die. It's this solid little die that goes here. So I need to tuck that underneath my little dome here. Is dome the right word? Probably not, but all right. And I'm gonna take, it's liquid glue that I'm using, just a tiny little bit of it, and it fits almost perfectly, not quite edge to edge, but close to edge on the die cut on the background. So I just needed to put a little bit of liquid glue on there and stick the two pieces together. So, hey, Anne-Marie, thanks so much for joining, and thank you. It's kind of, like I said, it's been kind of an exciting couple days around here. So, all right, on the inside of the card, I have got the sentiment from the Happiest of Birthday stamp set, which again is that little sentiment down here. This is one of my favorite sets from the annual catalog, and garden green ink. And we're going to do just some quick stamping on the inside, add our little piece of Designer Series paper, and then we're going to be all done. All right, and I actually think I stamped it kind of straight, which is good. Add a little strip of, let me put that glue away before I end up with that everywhere. A little strip of Designer Series paper on the bottom of it. Again, just using Stampin' Seal. This is a little extra piece that I had trimmed off somewhere along the line. It's about 5/8 of an inch wide, and it's much longer than I needed to be at 4 inches. But you can always trim it off. It's hard to add on if you have it be a little short. So, dome is how you pronounce it. Yes, see? Oh, I like it. Okay, somebody's with me on cloche, because I don't know why my mouth just doesn't want to say that word right. So we'll go with dome from here on out, or terrarium or something else. I like it. So I'm glad it is not just me. All right, so a little Stampin' Seal to adhere the two pieces together here. So I've got just adhering this to the inside of the card base, and we're going to be all done. I'm going to fold this, and I'm actually going to flip it over and hopefully not smoosh the embossing too much when I do my crease with the bone folder. But there you go. So that's it. super simple. Some good birthday cards, I think, for, like I said, I thought they would work for anybody that you were sending them to. So they're not too girly that you can't send them to a man, not too manly, you can't send them to a lady. So it's all good. All right, so thanks so much for joining today. I appreciate you all being here, and have a wonderful rest of your Tuesday. I will plan to be back on YouTube live around 2 o'clock Eastern time on Friday, and back here again on Facebook Live next week, Tuesday around 2 o'clock Eastern time. Again, the details will be posted on my blog tomorrow, so you can check that out if you're interested, and I'll link it up in the video. And other than that, have a great day, and we will chat soon. Oh, and don't forget about the sale tomorrow. don't forget about the Stampin' Up! Sale tomorrow. So hop on and get your orders placed before the end of the day so you don't miss out on the good deal. Chat with y'all later.